writer named Art Wallace in the golden age of television came up with a short story for a live dramatic television program called The Web. And it was an early weekly half-hour produced by the Goodson-Todman Company, who was later most known for all the game shows, such as Password and The Price is Right and The Match Game and all these things that have been on for many decades. And our pal Bob Kober composed some of the early themes on these game shows, ironically. But going back to Art Wallace, Dan Curtis hired Art in 1966 to develop the Bible for Dark Shadows, when Dan dreamed of basically bringing all of his Gothic favorites and just sort of adapting a mashup for daytime television, when ABC gave him the green light to produce Dark Shadows. Bang, Patrick. And of course, Dark Shadows was not called Dark Shadows out of the gate. As so many shows, they have a working title, or they just have people trying to figure out what makes sense and what markets it. Dark Shadows had several titles before it got on the air, including Shadows on the Wall, which was the name of the Bible. But that was 1966. Now we go back to 1954, when Art Wallace was a middle-aged writer for television, and you had an abundance of weekly anthology series, and a lot of great talent appeared on these shows. Broadway, these were New York, television was based out of New York in the 50s, and it was live because videotape was not available. And so you're lucky if these shows are saved at all when there's a kinescope. And so we've got an early version of what is called The House by Art Wallace, and you'll see that it's a blueprint for what he put into the Dark Shadows pilot, with the Bible, that Dan Curtis enlisted him to flesh out when Dan wanted to basically bring Jane Eyre to daytime television. And so you'll find a reclusive widow who thinks she's done something nefarious to her assumed late husband. You'll see that she has a young daughter who is engaged to a local fisherman. So you've got the Elizabeth, Carolyn, and Joe Haskell characters. You'll see a Jason McGuire character coming to manipulate the poor reclusive matriarch. You'll see a local tavern with a bartender and a local alcoholic named Sam. And this live production will make Dark Shadows look like Cecil B. DeMille, okay? Because we don't always appreciate the fact that Dark Shadows is a rare specimen of live television from the live on tape television from the 60s. And Dark Shadows really had a great look for a daytime drama. Some of these other daytime soaps really don't exist. Now they are airing The Doctors from the 60s and early 70s on the Retro TV channel, which is one of the smaller nostalgia channels, but it's on, and I see it when I'm in Pittsburgh, but and they're up to Nancy Barrett's episodes from '71, and Bob Kober did the music, so it's like the early Dark Shadows, very kind of the stringy romantic song cues, but you see just how plain and somewhat drab those sets are. Even in the early 70s, they really still look kind of like cardboard sets. So Cy Tomashoff really did a fine job with the set pieces and just the textures on Dark Shadows. So I'll shut up now because we want you to see this. This has not been seen anywhere in 62 years. And Art Wallace later adapted The House as a 1-hour live drama 3 years later for the Goodyear Playhouse in color, and that has been lost. We did a script reading of that with the actors a few years ago. So this is a real treat for the 50th anniversary to be able to show you this, kind of quasi-origin story for Dark Shadows that became part of the whole Collingwood folklore, right? So let's dim the lights and go back to the days when the cigarette companies owned the airwaves, unfortunately.
Live from New York. Tonight a story called The House. The story of this house in New England, the two women who lived in it, and the stranger who brought back their past. See it right now on the web. For your entertainment and pleasure, Kent Cigarette. The cigarette with a micronite filter presents another exciting and dramatic story of people caught in the web. Good evening.
Beer. Sure. You fool with that, Sam. I'd shoot it in your presence. He's messed up more bottles for me. I hope this is good and cold. That's all this is. You ever have beer in London? Warm. Yeah. You can try that? Warm beer. Ah. Isn't not too good, eh? I do all right. It's 11 o'clock, Pop. This place is always empty at this time. When the herring running, the boys got to get out real early in the morning. That's right. I've been away so long, I forgot. You're a stranger in town, Pop. Well, in a manner of speaking, the name's Cummings, mate. Walt Cummings. I've been away so long, I'm wondering if some of the people I used to know are still living. But you name them, Mr. Cummings. Small town, but I know them all. There was a woman lived in a house out on the edge of town. Stallworth, the name was. Elizabeth Stallworth? Hey, Elizabeth Stallworth. What about her? Well, Sam! He can't keep his hands off. You were saying about Elizabeth Stallworth, man. Well, oh yes. Well, she still lives in that same house. I don't know how long she can stay on there, though. It's about ready to fall down. She had a daughter, didn't she? Yeah, Louise. Real nice girl, too. You know, Mrs. Stover brought her up all alone and did a good job, too. Alone? Well, did you know about her husband and what happened? No. What about it? Try to fill it up, Mr. Cummings. What about her husband, man? Well, about 25 years ago, he walked out on her and the baby and took all the jewelry that the little smile and left. He never came back. Perhaps you met him, Mr. Cummings. He was a seafaring man like you. They're still living in that same house. Folks say she's waiting for her husband to come back. That's all. She's a real nice lady, though. Everybody likes her. So you're an old friend of hers. I'm an old friend. Oh, she'll be glad to see you. She doesn't go out very much. And it'll be a real treat to see her, an old friend. It'll be a surprise for her. I think maybe it'll be a real surprise.
Hello, dear. Hello, Mom. I'll get you some milk and cookies. No thanks, Mom. And you don't have to sit up and wait for me every time I go out. I'd like to. Well, then, I guess I'll go up to bed. Ma, I want to talk to you. You have a nice time at the pictures, you and Joe? We didn't go. Oh? Went up to the bottom stairs. Just sat and talked. He's a nice boy, Louise. I like him. I love him. And he asked me to marry him. I'm so happy, darling. I didn't give him an answer, Ma. Well, why not? Now, Louise, you mustn't think you need money to make a happy marriage. Well, I had money when your father married me, and, well, if you love him, dear. Ma. Joe makes more than any other person in town. He's even thinking of buying another one. Then what is it? Ma, I can't leave you live alone here. Not in this old house. You don't think I'm too old to take care of myself, do you? You didn't know that, Ma. I brought you up, didn't I? Without any help. I didn't need it then, and I don't need it now. Ma, I don't mind living by myself, but the house is falling apart. It's getting dangerous. Oh, now that's foolish. It isn't. The hurricane's weakening it, you know. Even the foundations are going bad. Ma, Joe and I want you to leave the house and live with us for a minute. No. We talked it over. No, I can't. Joe wants you to. I'm not leaving here. I know. Because the father is still thinks that someday he'll come back. How long can you wait, Ma? For how many years? God. I can't leave. And I can't leave you here alone. Please, don't do this to me. More than anything in the world, I want you to be happy. And your life is with Joe. My life is here. Louise, where are you going? Joe's outside. He's waiting for my answer. You must be waiting with him, Louise.
Louise, it's not fair. She's got no right to tie you down.
My decision, dear, not yours.
Honey, look, we've been through all this before. Why don't we just get something to say with
She
us?
won't have a stranger in the house, you know that. Joe, couldn't we get married and come to you today?
We've done this before. There's something about this house.
Yes, I feel too. But at least we'd be together, Joe. Please, couldn't we try?
Honey, maybe your mother wouldn't want me in the house either.
You'd be proud of the family.
Well, I suppose we could fix it up.
No, we couldn't do that, Joe.
Why not?
Mom would never allow it.
For Pete's sake, that's crazy.
Joe, listen. Try to understand. But if you let me, I'd wait for you to come back until the day I die. I'd wait and I wouldn't want anything to change. None of it.
Honey, everybody knows your father isn't coming back. You think so too?
I don't know what I think. All I know is that I love you, and I want to be married. I would live here at least for a while.
Well, I suppose.
The night I told my mother that I was going to be married, she gave me what she called her most precious possession. It was a recipe for stuffed red snapper. So tomorrow I'll pass it on to you. And tomorrow night, when you come to supper, Joe, you can decide if you think it's as valuable as it's supposed to be.
Sure it is, Mrs. Stallworth.
You do think that you and Louise can be happy living here?
Mrs. Stallworth, Louise and I'd be happy living in it.
Of course you would. Well, I guess we should get talking about plans for the wedding. A visitor this time of night?
I'll answer it.
Will you, Joe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah? You finished over in?
Yeah.
Well, then
Joe?
hello there. Don't you remember me?
Stallworth.
No, I'm all right, Joe. Louise, let's go to the dining room, please, with Joe. I have to talk to this gentleman alone. Mom, please do as I say.
No.
I know what I'm doing, Joe.
Well, you say so. Come on,
So, you came back.
I came back. I didn't mean to scare you, man.
You said I'd never see you again.
Hey, when a man gets old, man. Now, at my age, a sailor's always looking around for some place to settle down in.
Settle down? Here?
That's right, man.
No, you can't. How would I explain it to Louise? What would I tell her?
Why, that's easy. Just tell her, I'm an old friend of her father. After all, that's true, ain't it? There's nobody in the world was closer to him than I was. I brought the thing.
No. I won't let you stay. Louise is going to be married and live here. She's going to be happy. I won't let you spoil it.
You mean you're ordering me out?
Yes, get out.
I wouldn't do it that way.
I am doing it.
No, I don't think you are. Not really. Not when you stop to remember. You know, a body can forget a lot of things in 25 years, but there's some things you never forget.
Doing.
Oh, yes, you would, Liz. You know, folks in this town seem to think a lot of you. Living here all these years in this house, waiting for your husband to come back. I wonder what they'd think if I told them the truth. That he never walked out. That I was here 25 years ago when you murdered him.
Aren't you going into town to do the marketing? In a minute. It's Mom. What? It's an old friend here. Why'd you let him settle down in the back with me last night? All these years you never let anybody else stand here. He's a very old friend here. I haven't seen him for 25 years. Popped and father went away? That's right. He was a good friend of your father, too. Best friend he ever had. I think I understand. He needs help now, and, well, we have the room. I hope you and Joe are not going to mind. No. We won't mind, no. Oh, maybe Joe. And you're making some breakfast for people who think Joe wasn't well. Good morning. Mr. Crumbling.
Good morning. Good morning, Liz. Well, that's the best night's sleep I've had in months. I'd like some eggs for breakfast, if you got them. Over here in China, they bury them. Dig them up after 100 years and eat them. I can't see that idea. Bury an egg when you know you won't live long enough to eat them. Hey, Liz, are you going to cook my eggs?
Oh, please don't stay. Please.
Well, I like it here. Now, look, Liz, I'm not being unreasonable. I know you got some money coming in from what your folks left you, but I didn't ask for any of that, did I? All I asked is a place to stay.
Well, you've seen my daughter now.
Beautiful girl.
She's the only thing in the world I've had to live for. Do you think I would have stayed here all these years, hiding what I've done standing for her? Why, I'd have screamed out to the world long, just to get out of this horrible house. But I stayed. I did it, so that someday she'd be happy. Lord, I'm afraid of what might happen if you're now. You have to go.
Well, I was wondering, Liz. I just wondered, mind you, what would happen if somebody told that beautiful daughter of yours what lies buried in the cellar? I want them sunny side up, Liz.
I can't think of anyone else, Joe. Can you?
Let's see. Oh, and Ellen. You know, the wedding wouldn't be official without her trying us down the aisle.
Joe. And Ellen. I want you that thing too, Mr. Cullen.
Now that's real nice of you.
Wouldn't be right for me to be married without you there. Why do you say that, Louise? Well, you said he was an old friend.
Aye, that's right. An old friend. And I'll be real proud to come to your wedding. Back only 2 days, you invited to your daughter's wedding. That gives a man a real warm feeling.
Mr. Cummins, I'm glad you came back.
Well, now that's nice.
It just makes everything personal. Having you here, Larry. Louise. Yes, Mom? I want you to understand that...
Well, why don't you leave the girl be? You know, dear, you've grown up just the way I thought you would. Sweet and kind and understanding. Just like your mom.
Louise, why don't you and Joe go outside for a while? There's a nice moon tonight. It'd be a shame to waste it.
That's a good idea, Mrs. Stallworth. Come on, come on.
Well, I'm away.
Well, we'll do it in the daylight. We're not wasting a movie.
What are you planning to do?
That's the funniest thing I ever heard. She really thinks I'm her long-lost father. No, this wasn't my doing. She picked it right out of her own hand.
But you went right along with her.
It was just an innocent deception, that's all. I thought you said all you cared about was your daughter's happiness. Now, this might be a real comfort to her.
Well, there's still people in this town that know how John looked. They'll know you're not my husband.
Yeah, I suppose they will. You know, being your husband wouldn't be such a bad idea, that. That fellow that Louise is going to marry will own a fleet of fishing boats someday. A man could do worse than be his father-in-law.
Well, no.
Why shouldn't we get married?
I'd rather die.
You mean you'd rather die, or you'd rather I did?
I'm warning you, Wolf.
You've done it once. I reckon you could do it again.
I'm warning you. You're not going to hurt Louise.
Me? Harm my own daughter? Don't be silly.
I've always believed he was alive, Joe. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, I suppose so.
What's the matter?
Well, if he's your father, why just don't they come out and say so?
They've got their reasons. He stole the jewels when he went away. Maybe they want to straighten that out first. But whatever. I know it's going to be over.
Yeah, sure.
And there's another thing. Now that he's back, Mother hasn't any reason for wanting the house to stay the same.
You mean we can fix the place up?
That's right. We can get one job done here and look it over. Oh, Joe. It'll be such a nice surprise for them.
Yeah, I'll bring him out tomorrow morning, right after breakfast.
Okay, Papa. Hello, Papa.
Louise?
It's over.
Howdy, Bill. What brings you out here?
Well, now, these kids of yours fetched me to look the place over, see what repairs to make first. Yes, it's just about time, too.
Repairs? Louise, it's a surprise. I know why you never wanted anything done in the house before. Everything's gone now. So, Joe and I, no. I won't have it.
Mr. Stone, he's just got to get out of the cellar and see about the foundation.
Well, sure can.
He's just got to dig around and see how found up done is.
No.
I forbid it. You know how I feel, Louise.
Well, I guess I just better be going.
No, Will. Wait. Mom, I figured you had a right to leave the house the way it was so long as you were waiting for Pop. But now, you mean, because you think he's your father, you've arranged to dig up the cellar? I've never had the courage to tell you, not to put it into words. But now...
Yes, you mustn't. Yeah, where did I talk?
No, I won't. Louise, it's time she knew now. She's safe with Joe. And she's got a right to know everything about her mother. Mom?
Yes, you mustn't.
You go on and do the job, Will. I'm going down cellar with you. I want to tell you exactly where to dig. You're going crazy. No, I've just come to my senses. Come on, Bill.
Please! Please!
I can't just sit here.
Better not, Henry.
You know what it's all about. Can't you tell? He's digging. It won't be long.
It's getting too late yet, Sonny. You've got to listen to me.
No, Walt, I listened to you once. Almost 25 years ago. And I've been suffering ever since. Living here with my folks in this horrible house. You love the house. And now that Pa's come, he's not your father. Your father's dead. I killed him. No. I don't believe it, I don't. It's true. He was a cruel, selfish man. No, Walt. You better stay and listen too. Your father wanted to take my jewelry to pay a gambling debt. I told him I was going to divorce him. But he only laughed and started to the jewel box. Well, we used to keep a gun in the bureau. I only wanted to fight with him, but he grabbed me and it went off.
Yeah, better stay here. You want him to stay, don't you, Miss Stone?
Yes, but he's part of it. They were two of a kind. Walt was waiting outside, and when he heard the shot, he come running in. He said he's burying himself. Walt promised he'd go away and never say anything if I'd given the jewelry. Oh, I was so frightened, Louisa. I would have promised him. So, you went away, didn't you? But I had to go on living here. All these years, afraid to move. Oh. You can't hate me as much as I hate myself. I love you, Mom. Yes, Will? You found it?
I don't know what you're talking about, mister. I dug right where you said. There wasn't nothing there. Nothing to do.
But there's got to be. Walt, the place you showed me. Is it deep enough?
Oh, plenty deep, isn't it?
But what does it mean? Walt?
You see, it was just an innocent deception, that's all.
Innocent? Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, we didn't mean no harm. We just thought that was a good way to get the jewelry without you saying anything.
We?
Aye, John and me. He wasn't dead. The bullet just grazed his head and knocked him out. He come to in the cellar.
I didn't feel it?
No. Him and me skipped out together. He died at sea 10 years ago.
Oh. You did that? You did that to me? All these years? Sitting here? Hating myself? Afraid to change? All these horrible years?
Mr. Stover, we ought to throw him in jail for extortion.
Yes, Mom, we should. No. These isn't Vinny. Well, I haven't got any hate left. Don't you see? I can leave the house now.
That was wonderful. I have never seen that. That was really, really good. Wow. Boy, oh boy. So thanks, Jim, for finding that, or whoever's responsible for that. That's terrific. See, isn't it great that we have kinescopes and these old shows, and they're talking about these television networks like this Decades, and the one I have is Get TV, and they show Judy Garland, they show Andy Williams, Danny Kaye, all these variety shows, and these performers you never see, but there they are in all their glory, and Merv Griffin, of course, and it's terrific. So this is another example. It's so important that we preserve early television, early film. Do you agree? What do you think?